Hello and welcome to another typical Friday afternoon in our part of the world or wherever you are. It's a joy to be here with you all again. So we're going to do our usual practice, and today I'm going to do it seated so that those that are seated can have a recording as well. And I'm quite comfortable doing a practice sitting down. Sometimes I've not got the energy necessarily fully to stand in postures, so let's meet each other where we're at. So I'm doing it in a swivel chair, in an office chair. You can do it in anything. Um, Sometimes it's easier without the arms, but find what works for you. This one kind of shifts and turns a bit if I want it to, but I've done it sat on stationary chairs too. So as long as you've got enough room to maybe move your arms a little bit and stretch up a bit, we're all good. So find what feels good, find what's comfortable. We'll start with the wrists as ever, and we'll just open up in that nice figure of 8. So we're just letting the body know that we're back onto some movement, maybe taking some nice deep breaths as well. Bring that busy mind into the moment, whatever your day might have been holding. Getting a nice flex on them fingers as well, nice stretch through the hands, just really opening up the fascia, the connective tissue, kind of the yin aspect of the body, helping open space for relaxation. So let's move on to the shoulders. Just rolling them shoulders, allowing the tops of the shoulders to really work the movement. So just circling around and back. You can take the back of palms forward and fully rotate like that if you're standing. And then the other way. So find what's comfortable, keeping the wrists and the fingers still nice and soft and smooth. Maybe roll them backwards a couple of times. Feeling nice and warm already. I actually do some Qigong in my day when the heating goes off and things like that, when I'm feeling a little bit chilly, just to warm my body up a bit. I always feel a bit warmer after this. So let's go on to warming up our neck. So if we just, there's 3 different ways you can warm up your neck. There's 3 different turns. Find what feels good for you. I recommend keeping a lift in the crown because everyone's neck will be different. Find what's comfortable. Always stop if it's uncomfortable. So just looking to the left and to the right. Looking up, middle down, middle up, middle down. And you can add your jaw with this. So bring the jaw open at the bottom and then close it at the top. Just get a stretch through the jaw as well. And we'll do a nice shoulder stretch now to bring that one in. So this one's called Stork Spreads Its Feathers. A nice opening stretch. So we're just going to literally, if you're standing, take your hips backwards. Otherwise, we're just leaning slightly forward, bringing the arms around in a circle, and then pulling, allowing gravity to pull the tips of your fingers down as you lift in the crown. Imagine a line of opposition between your tailbone and your crown to keep that nice integrity in the spine. And then we're just going to take our neck to one side and gently roll in the neck, keeping a nice lift in the crown. Imagine an opposition line between the top of your head and the tips of the fingers on the opposite side to where your shoulder is being rolled over by your head. So you should be feeling a bit of a stretch along the side of the neck, tops of the shoulders. Always find what feels good for you. I slightly vary our warm-up so you've got a nice bit of a repertoire, because some of these are ones that I go to when I'm doing office-based work and sat down for a long time. I might just do 1 or 2 of these just in between my writing or when the kettle's on, just to give my body a bit of a break and an opening. Lovely. So hopefully that's the neck a little bit more open for you. We'll do a little bit of a twist to the spine now and open up the spine. So if you're seated like me, the first one we're going to do is a spinal twist. So again, keeping that integrity, a lift in the crown, and you can just turn. So imagine that your body is like, imagine like a spit roast or something that pivots. And you're literally imagining that your spine is that, and so you're turning, keeping the pelvis and the chest as parallel as you can. So we're just getting a nice twist through the spine. The focus is on the spine. Nature grows in spiral movements, so we're inviting a bit of spiraling into the crown. You can turn and look behind you if that feels comfortable. And again, keeping that lift in the crown, maybe putting one hand behind you on the chair behind you, one hand on the opposite knee, lifting in the crown and turning to look behind. So let's do it one more time to each side. So turning and twist, lifting the crown. And the other way, turn and lifting the crown. Let's open up the front and back of the spine now. So we're going to do spinal cord breathing. So we're going to open the chest going forward and then round it going as we lean like this. So we're going to really open the chest, arching the spine. I'm in a swivel chair so you can see my back's really rounding a bit at the top, bringing them shoulder blades together and looking up slightly. And then, like cat-cow in yoga, I'm rounding. I start from the top of my vertebrae, but find what works for you. And I try and bring my elbows together in front of me, even if they don't reach, just to help bring in that feeling of rounding. You can do this one with the breath, it's spinal breathing, so you can breathe in to open and breathe out to close. Or if you want a bit more of a stretch in the spine, you can breathe in when you are rounding your back and breathe out when you're at the top. So find what feels like it wants a bit more spaciousness today. Letting the vertebrae articulate. Noticing where your breath is landing in your chest and your torso. This one's a great one to do before bed or after a busy day or a busy period in your day to transition the body before meals, before bed. This one activates the parasympathetic system. So it's like flicking a switch in your body to get it ready for that rest, digest phase. And some nights, even if I haven't got the energy to do much of a practice, this is one I typically do just before getting into bed. It's got me yawning, so it's clearly working. And always, if you find that you're yawning or anything like that, let it be. Your body's just releasing what it needs to release and opening up, breathing a bit deeper. So let's give it a try with picking the cherries. This is a nice one to do with the lower vertebrae of your back, especially. Imagine you've got some cherry, you're picking apples from a cherry tree. So one arm is stretched right above you. You can't fully see it, but it's stretched right out, lifting upwards. In fact, the beauty of this chair is you might be able to see a bit more. So you're arms fully extended, like so. And you're going to try and keep that hip pulled down. So you've got a nice stretch in the side body. So open up the sides a bit, lifting in the crown, and it should be opening a bit more in your spine. So this is a nice one to do if you do a lot of office-based work, or if you've spent a long time seated, or if you've been sat driving for a long time. Just to open up, I like to do this one especially for my lower back. There's another exercise I'll be recording in due course as well for the spine, a spinal proprioception, which can just help, again, straighten the spine up. And I find it quite a relief when I've been doing a lot of sitting or feeling a lot of pressure in my back. Wonderful. Let's open the arms to the front and the back as well. So just palms face down and going the opposite way from each other, and then coming round to lift up. We'll just open the shoulders a bit more. Sometimes a bit of improv. So maybe if you feel to roll your shoulders, or there's another part of your body that wants a bit of an opening, this one just made me aware it wanted doing. Right, let's give them hips and the upper body a bit of an opening. So this one is, we normally do tray of teacups, but let's start literally just with opening up the sides of the body. So imagine the bottom of your body is like concrete from the hips down. And I'm moving from sit bone to sit bone, and I'm rounding the back as I'm coming round, and then I'm opening again at the front. This one's just to, again, bit of opening in the spine, but also particularly the side body. This is one that's more done for a hip opener. Going the opposite way. And opening the sides, trying to anchor down the hips as you're going round, so you've got a bit of spaciousness. Your sides getting a bit of a stretch. Lovely. Right, let's give tray of teacups a try seated. So it might be easier if you're on a chair to sit nearer the front of a chair, if that's possible for you, just to give you a bit more space. Bringing the palms to face the wall behind you at kind of forehead kind of height. And we're going to take the arms facing away, facing the body, facing away, facing up. Let's get the arms first, facing away, crossed over, facing the belly, facing away, facing up, keeping the shoulders nice and relaxed. So it becomes one continuous flowing movements if you can, keeping the hands. You could have even tried just starting with touching the thumbs together. So you're trying to keep the hands together, and we're trying to imagine we're holding a tray of teacups, and we don't want that tray to spill any tea. So as we're going to the side, we're opening the side body a bit, and that is what creates the space to turn and keep them hands facing upward. So this is getting a nice bit of opening into the upper body, the hips. If you're standing especially, you can really be circling them hips as well. Opening the shoulders and the arms, keeping nice and flexed all the way through the hands and the fingertips too. And when we get to the top, the next time we're going to go the opposite way. So again, palms are facing the belly, facing away, facing behind, facing away, facing the belly. Maintaining a bit of integrity in the spine, just a bit of awareness can go a long way. Keeping them fingers and then palms nice and open. You can imagine with the palms even that you're holding, it's like there's almost a slight cupping shape to your palms. There's a hollow in the middle of your palms, just to keep them a bit more open and spacious. This is stretching through the fascia of the hands, especially if you've been using a lot of phones and technology. Not that many people use them these days. Can be nice to open up your fingers if they're going through the same motions every day. Okay, so bringing them arms down to the sides now, and imagine pushing into the bottom corners of your room. And then again, if you feel to, you can keep a lift in the crown, and again, feeling the opposition line between your crown and the arm facing away from your head. Pushing them palms down consciously as much as feels comfortable into the corners of the room, just again to accentuate that stretch. When you feel nice and open on one side, chin to chest if it's comfortable, round. The neck can be one that's not always fully warmed or stretched, especially if we don't do sports and activities where this is part of a stretching routine. A lot of tension and tightness can be held in the shoulders and neck, so These exercises can be nice to do just at the end of the day as well. So let's give them wrists a nice shake out. I'm going to do shake the tree, which is what we do every week to just release tension and tightness in the body. So from where you're seated, you can even lift up and down just into the tailbone. And we're going to add the kind of sound, that sighing breath, that sighing exhale, which I regularly talk about the benefits of in stress relief, in bringing relaxation to the body. Science is starting to show the benefits of these different things that our bodies naturally do, the yawn, on our physiology, on the chemicals and the balance of the brain. And even if none of the science was there, I know it makes me feel good. So really flexing them wrists. Sometimes there's a lot of tension in the wrist. Let your elbows relax, shoulders relax. Bouncing potentially in the tailbone, lifting the crown. If you're seated, you can just gently shake your legs as well, one at a time. Might be a bit of a challenge to do them both at the same time, but have a bit of childish fun with it if you feel to as well. Really laying out any creases. Oh, I feel to do a bit of a silk reel as well as a final one for the spine. So in fact, let's do that, and then we'll open up the ankles as well. So the silk reeling, we're just going to literally lean forward as far as comfortable, and then we're going to imagine the hips were coming forward as your chest moves back, and then as your hips are going back, the chest moves forward. So it's like a wave is rippling from the base of our spine all the way up to the crown. We're just getting a nice waving motion going. Just again, opening up that spine and upper body, keeping the shoulders and the arms relaxed. Maybe resting the palms on your thighs, give you a sense of grounding and connectedness still. Feeling those feet touching the floor. Slowing it down. And we'll do a more subtle one now, where the wave is just a gentle wave. And as it gets to the top, we're going to tuck the chin and lift the crown. And that is just going to help to open up. They call it I think it's the jade jewel. There's an acupressure point right where the spine meets the cranial base, the base of the skull and the brain, and that's just going to bring a bit of opening into that connection point. And a nice lift and tuck of the chin, lift of the crown, and slowing it down. Hopefully we're feeling very nice and open after that. And the final one is we'll just open on up into those ankles, just gently circling one way or another. If you're someone that's quite visual, you could visualize literally looping through a flower of life or a lotus flower, just to keep your mind engaged and present as well. Oh, that feels good. Right, shaking to the front, and if possible too, you can shake to the side and slightly behind before we move to the other ankle. The ankle can be one that gets forgotten, and the toes as well. So you might not be able to see in my socks, but I'm flexing my toes as well. They often get so confined in shoes that it can be nice to give them a bit of a stretch, give them the space to flex out, release any tension, especially if they're cramped in the same kind of way every day. And shaking forward to the side and behind. So let's find our Wuji posture and move on to our flows. So we've got our feet touching the floor, feet fully flat to the floor, and we're just going to lift from the tailbone, lift from the crown, and a slight tuck of the chin. When we've got that, we're going to relax the shoulders, and we're going to keep a nice rounding in the arms with the palms upwards around the abdomen level. And we're going to take some nice deep breaths into the abdomen. Noticing how your body feels, or if there's any tension or tightness, if it feels different from when we started. After some basic stretches, how does your body feel? And then inviting us to become aware of where the breath is landing in the body. Just observing it, not trying to change it. Aware of the depth or length of your breath. And then if it feels right for you, you can try to slightly increase the length of that breath. To breathe slightly deeper into the torso. Finding that kind of comfort zone and pushing slightly through if it feels okay to try. Those that have got any heart conditions or breathing conditions, it's best to seek a physician to ask, because there can be some contraindications for different breathing. And then you can experiment with what works for you in a safe way. Always listening to your body. Now I invite you to bring awareness to all four sides of the torso as you breathe. So breathing into the front, the back, and the sides of the ribs, the lower back. Imagine that breath really expanding all the way through. Take 3 nice deep breaths like that. And now we're going to bring our awareness to our lower abdomen and just imagine a ball of light there. This is our lower dantian. This is the place that the Chinese consider the center of our bodily energy. So we're just going to focus our concentration there. And we're going to start our flows from there. So we're going to bring our hands in line with our pelvic line. And we're going to do this one. It's like pumping the bellows, okay? So literally, this one's called compressing the pearl, and it's like pumping a bellows, keeping them fingers nice and expanded. This is one we've done pretty much every week. So we're starting at that lower abdomen where we've been concentrating, and we're imagining a pearl there. And then as we breathe in, lifting in the chest, feeling that center of gravity rise to the chest and then back down to the lower abdomen. Letting the movement come from the shoulders. Still maintaining relaxed. We're a bit more soft in the flows. No need to be as far stretched. We've opened up the tissues, and now we want to let a gentle flow in rhythm with our breath. Before we go on to flying hands, this is the one where we lift again, center of gravity to the chest, and take them arms outward to shoulder width. Turn the fingers to face parallel from the wrist, so the movement comes from the wrist and dropping down. So nice and narrow up the body, feeling that awareness in the chest, pushing out, turning the wrist, which turns the fingers, and letting it sink down again. And this time with your breath, we breathe in to lift with most of our flows. Slight hold as we turn the wrists and then exhale. And hold, exhale. Inviting you to become aware of all of your toes touching the floor nice and outstretched, so you're maintaining awareness through the whole body. Feeling your legs soft yet strong. Still noticing that solid foundation to your sit bones. Before we go on to swimming dragon. So we'll take them palms out in front, turn one to face up and one to face down, and we let them elevate us push away. Remembering that middle key is like a key in a lock. Middle finger is the turning point. So we keep our hands parallel. Arms not so fully outstretched that it's uncomfortable. There's still a bend in the elbows. Turn. And the next time the hands meet in the middle. In fact, we'll turn, and this is the point we breathe in. Where the hands meet, we breathe out. To push away. Turn that key and breathe in and breathe out. Maintaining that lift and integrity in the spine. So we're still aware of the crown and the tailbone lifting in opposition to each other. Still aware of turning around that key in the lock. This one just opening the vertebrae in the back, so another nice one to do. If you spent a lot of time sat down, driving, commuting, computer-based work or seated work, or if generally your day means that there's a lot of sitting involved. Final time. Turn, hands meet. Just bringing them back to the sides and notice how you feel. Now this one's called Tree Sways in the Wind. So we're going to turn from imagine turning from the hip flexor, so the abdomen and the chest still parallel. Just going to gently bring the arms up the side of the face to the top of the head and let the arms drop gently. And we're going to turn again from that hip into the hip, up the side of the body, turn at the top. This one's associated with the wind element, the tree literally swaying in the wind. And this one great for clearing the mind or after lots of thinking, perhaps after studying, anything where the mind's been particularly engaged or taxed. Or if you just find yourself overthinking. This one I've been doing quite a lot recently after long periods on the laptop. Or when I find my mind's trying to race ahead to a to-do list. And I generally feel a lot calmer by the end of this. And with the breath, you breathe in to bring the arms up. And exhale to release. And this one was tracing up that meridian line, connected to the lungs, connected to the wind element, in fact connected to the liver channel. Final time to this side. Bring the arms to the sides and noticing how you feel. And let's bring it to a close with Bear Goes Swimming. So we'll just breathe in any energy, whatever quality of energy we most need in this moment, opening the chest and the shoulders, but from a more relaxed, we're not overstretching, and we're breathing out what no longer serves. Maybe if you're seeking new ideas or inspiration, new connections or relationships, if there's something that you're conscious that feels like it wants to come in now, just breathe some awareness into that, letting it in to your body, literally being inspired. The lungs where we receive so much nourishment every day, letting them feel nice and deep now, feeling lighter with every exhale. And this time we're going to bring the hands into the chest, and we're just going to hold them in front of our chest and our heart, and just take another deep breath in, really absorbing it deep into the lungs, the heart, letting it circulate around the whole body from there. Let's draw down the heavens. So we're going to take the arms to the sides, above the head, and gently imagine purple light literally washing through the whole body. Still aware of them feet firmly planted on the floor. Letting that purple light scan all the way down your legs, right to the tips of the toes. Just scanning the body final time, just aware of how the mind is, the heart, and where the breath's landing as we bring them hands underneath the abdomen. And we're just going to circle now, so coming right up the right hand side of the body, across and down the left hand side. So this is just to go with the direction of our large intestine and our abdomen. I've still got a lift in my crown, so there's still some nice awareness through my spine. Maybe wiggling the toes to stay aware of the feet, bringing them circles to smaller and smaller. You can bring them feet and legs closer together. And this one, just gently let your body now rock and sway as you breathe and center the practice deep in your abdomen, deep in your core. Centered and rooted deep in the core of you. Breathing into that place. And after that final deep breath, a final circle, letting that energy really seep in. Before releasing with an audible sigh. Namaste. Thank you for joining us, for giving yourself this time. Thankful to myself for taking the time to slow down, to relax and unwind. So thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure on a Friday afternoon. Take good care, and we will see you next time. Feel free to like, subscribe, and share this with anyone that might benefit. And hopefully the seated practice opens up the repertoire for some people as well. So take care, meet your body where it's at. We'll see you next time.